Prepare for takeoff once tech recovers. Here are three of the best cloud computing ETFs to buy for long-term capital appreciation. First, Trust Cloud Computing ETF. It's the oldest and largest cloud computing ETF. Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund. Equal weighted often does better than cap weighted. ERK Next Generation Internet ETF. The actively managed fund benefits from the expertise of Cathie Wood. Let's dive in. Here are the three best cloud computing ETFs to buy for long-term growth. Welcome to Timely Investment Research. McKinsey estimates that the cloud adoption by Forbes Global 2000 companies could generate $3 trillion in earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization by 2030. That's a big reason investors should consider the best cloud computing ETFs to buy. Sure, you could bet on Microsoft to win the cloud computing race, and you'd probably do just fine. However, you're exposing yourself to significant company risk by focusing your bet on one specific company. Investing in a cloud computing ETF spreads the risk across many different companies. And as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. VetFE lists 6 U.S.-listed cloud computing ETFs. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us a lot of options. So we'll broaden the search to include other technology ETFs with a decent commitment to cloud computing. Here are the three best cloud computing ETFs to buy now. Number 1. First Trust Cloud Computing ETF. The largest cloud computing ETF by a country mile is the First Trust Cloud Computing ETF, with $2.6 billion in net assets. It is also the oldest, launched in July 2011. The ETF tracks the performance of the ISE CTA Cloud Computing Index, a collection of companies involved in the cloud computing industry. To be included in the index, a company must have a minimum market capitalization of $500 million, a minimum free float of 20%, and a 3-month average daily dollar trading volume of $5 million. The index classifies these cloud computing businesses into 3 buckets: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Each company is ranked based on its participation in each bucket. If a company operates in all 3, it gets a maximum score of 6 points: 3 points for infrastructure as a service, 2 for platform as a service, and 1 for software as a service. If it doesn't operate in one of the buckets, it gets a 0 for that cloud computing segment. Once all companies are ranked, each ranking is divided into the total to establish a weight. No company can carry a weight of more than 4.5% or less than 0.25%. The maximum number of companies in the index is 80, with the index reconstituted and rebalanced on a quarterly basis. Currently, First Trust Cloud Computing ETF has 65 holdings, with 4 stocks carrying weightings above 4%, including Microsoft at 4.29%. The fund has an average market cap of $26.14 billion, and it charges a reasonable 0.6% fee. Over the past 3 years, the annualized total return for First Trust Cloud Computing ETF is 8.88%. Number 2. Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund. Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund is the second of 2 passively managed cloud computing ETFs. It tracks the performance of the BVP NASDAQ Emerging Cloud Index, an equal-weighted index that follows U.S.-listed stocks of companies operating in the cloud computing industry. I've always liked equal-weight indexes because they give you more of a variety of market caps than cap-weighted indexes. Launched in September 2019, Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund has $623.4 million in net assets and charges a low 0.45% fee. New additions to the fund must have at least 15% revenue growth in each of the past 2 years. To remain in the index, a company must have had at least 7% growth in one of the previous 2 years. It also must have a minimum market cap of $500 million and a minimum 3-month average trading volume of $5 million. Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund has an average market cap of $6.73 billion, or about a quarter of First Trust Cloud Computing ETF's average. So there is a bit of risk involved with the fund. The ETF currently has 70 holdings, with the top 10 accounting for 18% of the total portfolio. It is rebalanced twice a year, in February and August. Over the past 3 years, the annualized total return for Wisdom Tree Cloud Computing Fund is 9.87%, 99 basis points higher than First Trust Cloud Computing ETF. Number 3. ERK Next Generation Internet ETF. When I can, I always like to include an actively managed ETF, and what better than a Cathie Wood fund? The ETFs Next Generation Internet ETF got its start in September 2014. Today, it has $1.25 billion in net assets. The ETF focuses on 8 areas of technology: cloud computing, 25.3% of the fund; e-commerce, 16.8%; digital media, 16.5%; blockchain and peer-to-peer, 12.5%; big data and machine learning, 11.2%; mobile, 8.7%; Internet of Things, 6.9%; and social platforms, 1.9%. Because actively managed funds tend to be more focused, it's only got 29 holdings, with the top 10 accounting for 65.2% of the entire portfolio. Wood tends to turn the whole portfolio once every 15 months. The median market cap is $18.2 billion, with price to sales and price to earnings ratios of 2.2 and 50.8, respectively. The fund charges 0.88%, which is reasonable for active management. Our Next Generation Internet ETF's 3-year annualized return is 4.77%. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Timely Investment Research. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit that bell icon to never miss an upload, and hey, don't forget to subscribe.